Welcome to the Good Experience podcast,
where related minds
talk about related topics.
And we all just happen to be related. Buckle up, this is going to be a good one.
We've got that good
experience
podcast. And welcome back to another exciting episode of We Got That Good Experience podcast. I'm Marcus Moses, and we are here again. I know it's been a while, but hey, we're still here. We're still doing our thing, and we still got that good. And of course, as always, this thing does not take off without my cousin co-host, Miss Kimberly. What's going on, cuz?
Marcus, darling, how are you? And welcome back to the Good Experience. This feels like it's been like forever and 2 days.
It has. We hope you enjoyed yourself there, Kim. You took a little time to get away out of the country, come back refreshed. You good?
I'm still alive.
And also,
there's a story behind that one.
And also, we can't do this without my other cousin co-host, Byron Bino Brown. What's going on, B?
What's up, Marcus? What's up? And what's up, Kimmy? Welcome to the Good. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do this. Exactly. Hey, so check it out, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do something new, exciting, and different today. This is our newest episode, and today we're going to be honoring the wonderful genre of house music. Of that, I thought it would be a great... Oh, yeah. But before we get into that, ladies and gentlemen, we got to do our good segment. So, Byron, what's good, buddy?
Well, what's good is the projects that I'm involved in. I do 2 weekly shows. One is called Back to Paradise on WKLD here in Washington, D.C. Soulful House Music Mix Show that airs every Friday night, midnight, 2 a.m. You can listen online at WKLD.org. And also, my other show, the B-Note Sound Lounge, which can be heard on the Rewind Radio Network. You can catch Rewind at rewindradio.us. That airs every Wednesday, 9 to 11. Check it out. It's an eclectic sound. There's a spotlight into how a DJ unwinds, so it's very eclectic. I cover multiple genres on that show. So that's what's good. Kimmy, what's good?
I'll tell you what's good. The impact of Lil' Kim's debut in hip-hop forever reigns. Lil' Kim's Supreme collab, inspired by her debut album, sells out within minutes of its drop. Revolt reports that the rap legend's capsule collection with Supreme sold out just minutes after it dropped on April 14th. The collaboration between Brooklyn's Finest and the New York brand clothing line reportedly features clothing with Lil' Kim's iconic photo from her hardcore album, which is her debut. Congratulations to Lil' Kim, still making that paper after all these years. So what's good with you, Marcus?
I'll tell you what's good on my end. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. What's that you asked? I'm glad you did. That's the 5th studio album by none of the Compton, California-born rapper Kendrick Lamar. He's set to release the new project on May 13th. Kendrick Lamar been a big year for him. The performance of the Super Bowl this year, and now a new album coming out May 13th. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. That's what's good on my end. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is our house music episode. We're going to have a good time with it. And so I thought it'd be a great idea, our very own Byron B-Note Brown. That's his forte. That's what he does. That's what he loves. He is a house head to the heart. Take the reins today. Hey, the mic is hot for you, Byron. You got control.
All right, Marcus. Thank you. Well, welcome, everybody. We get to get the party started, right?
Yes.
Let's do this.
So house music obviously is my favorite genre of music, and it's near and dear. It's sentimental, all of the above. House music is right there. So why don't we just dive into the history of house music, shall we?
Exactly. Me being born in Newark, house music was a part of my life. Every time I went to the club or a party or house parties were always the best. This music was always pumping. So the genre was born out of underground scene of Black communities in where, Byron?
Chicago.
And New York.
So, of course.
Yes, definitely. So, but honestly, I didn't know it was mainly in Chicago. Me, of course, thought it just came out of New York. Mm-hmm. So they were cultural highs swarming with exciting ideas and creative minds who came up with house music. It was created by DJs and music producers from Chicago's underground club culture in the 1980s. And the DJs from this subculture began altering disco songs to give them a more mechanical beat and deeper bass lines. Is that right, Byron?
That is correct. Frankie Knuckles is given the title The Godfather of House because of where he was playing this music, which is called The Warehouse in Chicago. And they just shortened the name to house music, right? But in addition to Frankie, there's Ron Hardy, J.C. Saunders, Chip E., Steve Curley, Farley, Jack Masterfont, Marshall Jefferson, Future. There's a whole list of other players that were involved in that scene that helped bring it to what we know it as today. But yeah, Frankie Knuckles holds the title of the Godfather of House, but there are other people who had their hands in it as well around that time frame. Larry Levan as well. Larry Levan. Great Larry Levan.
Absolutely. So, with no further ado, did you want to start off with some Masters at Work today?
I think we should. Masters at Work is a good start. Let's hit it.
All right.
You keep me up all night. I can't get no sleep. Your touch makes me weak. I'm gotta have your love. You're the one I'm thinking of. Dun, dun, dun.
Nice.
All right.
So we about to dance this Saturday morning, I'm telling you.
Yes, we are. Masters at Work, I Can't Get No Sleep, featuring the vocals of India, who now goes by the name La India. She's now a salsa singer. But this track was released in 1993. It's the lead single, actually, from Masters at Work's debut album, The Album. However, Masters at Work has been around actually since 1989. Masters at Work is made up of Kitty Dope Gonzalez and the one and only Little Louis Vega, who now just goes by the name of Louis Vega. This song right here was a #1 smash on the Billboard Hot Dance Club Dance chart back in 1993. It's a bona fide classic, and its format was very unique compared to what was out around that time with the different movements the song had. Marcus, I have to ask you this question. Have you heard this song before?
Actually, yeah, I've heard it in a couple of mixes. I've heard it in some of your mixes as well. Believe it or not, I've checked out some stuff that you sent me before. But I had a question. Now you said the name Lou Vega. Now is that the same?
Louis Vega.
Is he the one the same Mambo No. 5?
No, Louis Vega. Louis Vega. Little Louis Vega. Not Louis Vega, but Louis Vega. Two different people.
Okay, Louis. Gotcha. So he's not the Mama No. 5 guy, right?
No, not at all.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. All right, got it.
But also in 1993, there was one of my favorites that I heard all the time at my house parties.
What was that?
Deep Down Inside, honey.
Ooh.
Deep inside, deep down inside, 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 deep inside, deep down inside. Oh, we need love. Oh, we need love.
Don't make me play this thing all day.
No.
All right, we up here.
Great choice, Kimmy.
Thank you very much. So Deep Down Inside, loved and remixed by DJs everywhere. It's hard to imagine this track is almost 30 years old. Man, we getting old, Byron. Though you can still hear Deep Inside at any house festival today, which goes to show the power of the song. Hard Drive, the originators of this, was a 90s production alias from house legend Little Louis Vega, and gets most of the historical credit from the 1993 track that has been sampled many, many times, including for the late DJ Rashad's anthemic footwork track Deep Inside '06 and Kanye West's 2016 house tribute single Paid. Exactly.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Nice.
So Hard Drive, I'm sorry, Marcus. Hard Drive is actually Louis Vega and Kenny Dope, so it's Masters at Works moniker. Yes, indeed. And what were you going to say, Marcus?
I like it. We started off with a bang so far on this episode. I'm telling you, both of these. Well, the first song I actually heard before, but the second one right there I never heard, but I love it. I mean,
I know, right?
Yeah. It's got that signature house vibe. You know, that douche, 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 douche. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I like it, man. I just like it.
The vocalist on there is Barbara Tucker, and she's one of the long-standing house divas as well. He's recorded a lot of music, still recording to this day. When I heard Kanye West's Fade, and I heard that track come in, I was like, "Oh no, they didn't. No, he didn't." But then,
we forgot he's from Chicago.
Chicago, right. So it makes sense. This is not the first time he's used like the house music, but I was very impressed and pleased and happy. It was a huge moment to me for house music when he sampled that and featured it on that large scale. So great track, classic track. So what's next, Kimmy?
So up next is on Marcus's list. However, it is one of my favorites. It's a hip hop group that people do not talk about, but I love. Jungle Brothers, I'll House You.
House your body to the bass. House it all over the place, so don't let nobody in your way. Tonight's your night, today's your day. Africa will steer you wrong.
Say what?
House music all night long.
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 I'll house you.
Don't you know?
I'll house you.
Don't you know that?
I'll house you. You in my hood now.
Don't you know that?
I'll house you.
Don't you know?
He will. I'll house you.
Yo.
I'll house you. You in my hood now.
Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out.
Woo!
Check this out.
That's my joy.
I'm trying to tell you, got shades of the Pump Up the Jam. I think it's by Stetsasonic. Is that what's saying that? Pump Up the Jam.
Yeah, they sampled that.
Technotronic.
They sampled that.
Yeah. Technotronic. Oh, they sampled
Actually,
that?
this was long before Technotronic.
Yes,
No.
this was long before that.
This is long before that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let me tell you what I got. Of course, that was "Girl I House You" by the Jungle Brothers from the album Straight Out of the Jungle. Now, this song wasn't actually added to the album until the reissue in 1988. And the way it came about, Tony D, the owner of Idlers Records, just asked the guys, say, "Hey, you guys want to make a house record?" And again, like it says, the rest is what they say history. So a great track, a great fun beat. And Ken, you alluded to something earlier. A lot of the Jungle Brothers were very, very underrated.
Yes, they were.
People don't understand the contribution, not just to the club scene, to the house scene, but also to the hip hop scene. These guys were very gifted rappers, and I don't think they get the credit they deserve as well.
As a matter of fact, in one of the iconic classic hip hop songs from Black Sheep, you know which one I'm talking about?
The choice is yours.
The choice is yours. He specifically gives a nod to, he has brothers in the jungle. So one of the Jungle Brothers is his brother, and a cousin in the Quest. One of the members of Tribe Called Quest is his cousin. So Jungle Brothers has been around for years. We definitely want to give them their props.
Yeah, they kicked off what is called Hip House.
Yes.
Which I wish we could have more of that today, because not only did they do it, but of course, the Tribe Called Quest dabbled with some of their remixes in the house realm. You know, a lot of the hip hop artists, Queen Latifah, of course, Queen Latifah, Moni Love, all of them, pretty much Native Tongue were all up in the
Native
house.
tongue, exactly.
They were pretty much all up in the house. All of them were open minded enough to include house music as part of their repertoire. So big shouts to Jungle Brothers, because they really got it started for us. I mean, I think they were like the first, right? First hip house. Could we say that's the first hip house record?
I
would like to think so.
Yeah.
That's the first one I remember.
It still bangs to this day. They don't need to remix it.
You know what?
Keep it the way it is.
Exactly the way it is. You saw how we were jamming? Oh.
All right. Well, let's keep it moving. Let's go to the next track. Kimmy.
I have Inner Life featuring Jocelyn Brown. Caught Up.
I'm a fairy tale princess in search of a knight, and I never believe dreams come true. I'm just like you. You see, I'm caught up in one night love affair. Something true love will find me there. You see, I'm caught up in one night love affair, in need of love again. That's just the way I am. I'm caught up in one night love affair. Something true love will find me there. You see, I'm caught up in one night love affair, in need of love again. That's just the way I am.
So this would be considered, one of the classic house songs. And this one is from the beginning of house, where it was mainly just the old 70s songs that they played at the house parties that was just really jamming. But more about Jocelyn Brown.
Miss Grand Diva Jocelyn Brown, holding it down. She's still doing her thing.
Inner Life was an American club-oriented soul studio project formed in 1979 that enjoyed success with Caught Up which was originally recorded in 1979 but re-released through Inner Life as more of a house bumping type of genre. Byron?
I was gonna say this song falls under the category as dance R&B. You know, back in the day, a lot of the music that we used to listen to on the radio, when you trace it back now, it's house music. It's actually house music, because that was our dance R&B. It was post disco. You know, this is 1979, so that was after, right around when the whole backlash against disco occurred. But this didn't have that Euro sound as disco, so it was set aside from that. It's a push forward. It's more R&B feel. So I would even put this in the category like with not only with Forget Me Nots. That could be like another example as like one of those light, dancey R&B songs that crossed over into the club charts and got heavy club play. Jocelyn Brown, I can never say anything bad about Jocelyn Brown. She's been so versatile. She's done everything from R&B to gospel, and that's what she's really doing a lot of right now. She's got a lot of like dance, house, gospel type stuff out. She's worked heavily with Masters at Work. The Masters at Work formed New Eurekan Soul and released that album. She was one of the main vocalists. If you have not received or heard New Eurekan Soul's album, pick it up, because it's a classic. It's a bona fide classic. And that captures the classic sound of late disco, early R&B dance music.
So check it out, y'all. I'm not here to try to discredit anything. I totally agree with everything you guys are saying about this particular track. But for me, I just got a more of a disco feel from it. I really did. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? When I think about, I said earlier, when I think about house music, I hear that continuous hard hitting, kind of like a drum line, like I said, the douche, but this to me was more Studio 54 type music to me. But I mean, still a great, solid hit. I like it.
But remember what we said in the beginning about the history. House music came from the 70s disco era.
Right. I understand all that. I'm just saying that's the feeling I got from this one. It was more for me, so.
And what makes this more of a disco feel is the instrumentation as well, because the earlier house music was more electronic based sound as well. That was being produced, I should say. If it was a disco record that was extended for club play or repurposed for a stronger sound. And just to piggyback on both of what you all have said, what they used to do actually with some of these disco records is put their own little beats over them. They were, program the drum machines to play along with these songs to create a different type of atmosphere in the club. So you're both right in that regard. It is a disco song, but then again, it's early house, considered early, one of the earlier house vocals.
But to give you an even better example of what we're talking about, I'm going to play Melissa Morgan's Still in Love with You, but the house version.
Don't you know, don't you still, don't you know, don't you still,
So Melissa Morgan's original cut didn't have that bump and bass in it, but once you added it, that made it the perfect house song, man. Still in Love with You is a 1992 album by American recording artist Melissa Morgan, released under Pendulum Records. The album features her cover of, this was originally Al Green's I'm Still in Love with You, which peaked number 9, but immediately became a house classic once they remixed that. Now, go ahead, Brian.
And who remixed it? Do you know who remixed it?
You tell me.
Okay, so this name is going to come up a lot. Masters at Work.
Oh, get out.
Lil Vega, Kenny Dope Gonzalez, they actually did the post-production of this song for the album as well, which made sense for them to also handle the remix treatment for the song. So, yeah, they were responsible for making this song a number 7 dance hit back in 1991. This version, this is the main version. Melissa's in the house, but there's a dub mix that was the most popular version, and a dub is more of an instrumental representation of the song, which a lot of times would take a song in a different direction. That was very popular, like in the 90s, Marcus. If you're not familiar with what the dub mix is in the house genre, a lot of times it has samples of the vocals and may not even include any of the vocals from the song. It may be a completely reconstruction of the song, but it was just something that was added to the 12-inch for club play to enhance the club experience. But yeah, this is the primary example.
When you asked me who did the remix, I was going to say Diddy. Let him tell it. He invented the remix.
Right, according to him, he did
everybody's remix.
Yeah.
But yeah, Masters of Work, I think you're gonna learn, Marcus, after this show. Masters of Work has a solid foundation, hands all over how house music was presented. Not only them, but David Morales, Frankie Knuckles, they were in the forefront and during the 90s, bringing it up to the popularity that it is now.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So since we're talking about Masters at Work, I think I want to go ahead and play Louis Vega, Elevator Going Up. Is that okay with you?
Fine with me.
All right.
He was going down and she was going up. Excuse me, please. Going up. Please hold the door. Going up. Put out his hand. Going up. And he held it for her. Going up. And she jumped on. Going up. Kind of smiled and she sort of smiled. Going up. He had pushed ground. Going up. So they went down. Going up. And she pushed him. Going up. He gave his hand. Going up. He gave his name. Going up. She did the same. Going up. So where you from? Going up. What you done? Going up. And they can feel. Going up. What faded seals. And they tell this story over and over, over and over again. Fade, fade.
All right.
We're going up. We're going up. We're going up.
So you liked it. Oh, that's so cute.
You like that, Marcus? Yeah, this is actually Elements of Life featuring Monique Bingham. Elements of Life is Little Louis Vega, who's also one half of Masters at Work, featuring the vocalizer Monique Bingham, who's also a long-standing house vocalist. Featured on Louis Vega's 2015 release for Elements of Life called Starring 28, which had a host of different vocalists. Lisa Fisher is one of them that was included on there. But this song here, Elevator, featured the vocalist Monique Bingham, who calls herself a vocalizer, not necessarily a vocalist. She sings a variety of music, but she's a long-standing house artist. And she's now dabbled in some of the soulful, well, she's always been soulful house, but more of like the South African house. She's done a lot of work with a lot of South African artists as well. But this is a huge dance floor hit for the two of them. It's also featured on Monique Bingham's album, The Best of Last, which is a compilation of all of the music that she's released over the years. Marcus, what did you think of this song?
We're going up, man. It's a great little catchy little got like nice little catchy little beat to it, nice little catchy little vocals to it, man. I like it. But I wanted to ask you a question. Okay, you say the lady with the vocals. She says she's not a vocalist, but a vocalizer. What isn't actually a vocalizer?
That's just what she calls herself, as a vocalizer. She can sing anything, extends her voice to many different things. Kimberly, have you heard this song before?
Actually, this is my first time hearing that one, but I like it.
Okay. Well, I guess, we're going up.
Yeah, we're going up.
Yeah. All right, Kim, what's the next one?
You know what time it is?
What time is it?
What time is it?
It's time for the percolator.
The percolator.
Ooh,
It's time for the percolator. 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 Percolator.
Percolator dance. Only the house heads know that.
All right, honey, let me tell you. I remember I was working at the airport and I got invited to this house party in Irvington, New Jersey. And I think that's the first time I heard the percolator, and I saw these girls do this dance, and I was never able to do the dance, but it was just the flyest thing I ever saw in my life. But every nightclub or house party I attend, the percolator is a guaranteed crowd mover. So the single was by Kashmir, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
In 1996. On Cashapp Records. But that doesn't sound right. 1992.
1992. Mm-hmm.
I thought that was wrong because I'm like...
Yeah, that's a 1992. But there was a compilation that came out in 96. That's probably what you're
okay. But definitely, this is a house banger. Now, Marcus, I know you heard this one.
You know I have.
Okay.
This came out. Did Megan Thee Stallion do this one?
What?
She did her little twist of it, but I wouldn't even associate her with that.
I'm just talking. I'm just talking. No, seriously, I've actually heard before all that came out. Yeah, I actually heard
the looks at Marcus.
This is actually
I was about to take off my shoe and throw it at you.
Kimberly's look, that was priceless.
Right now.
Kimberly, your facial expression was priceless.
Yeah. Yeah, as the song was playing, I was just kind of thinking, like, hey, I hope these guys got some money, because actually I think they did like a percolator challenge last year, TikTok challenge or something like that. So I'm just hoping the originators of the song kind of got So
well, it's one originator.
I've heard percolator.
It's one guy, Curtis Allen Jones. He goes by the moniker Kashmir and Green Velvet. He's just like Louis Vega, but he's out of Chicago. So he's had his hands in all kinds of stuff. But he kind of pushes the envelope to the techno side as well. As you can hear those influences. Detroit's not too far from Chicago. So those influences are there. But The song is actually called Coffee Pot. It's time for the percolator.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people just call it the percolator.
The percolator.
But
The percolator.
it's called a coffee pot, and it's actually on Cashmere's label that he started. That he's been on his own label ever since. It's called Casual Records. So he's definitely should be comfortable getting some nice coin from all of his music being used over the years. Hopefully,
Yeah.
let's hope so.
Well, I have another of Cashmere's underground goodies mix called "You Got Me Up." I swear my knees are going to go out before this thing is over. I feel it. I have to put some heat on this. Anyway,
I know that's
this is from Cashmere on Casual Records, and this seems to have come out in 1993. Is that right, Byron?
what by Dajay, who's
Dajay, I'm sorry.
Okay, between this song and the percolator, there's another song that everybody knows. All of the mainstream DJs, when they call themselves playing house, they play either the percolator, they play another record called Alias and Follow Me, or Dajay, You Got Me Up. They sometimes mostly play like the vocal version. So Marcus, this is the prime example of what a dub mix is, because this version has nothing to do with the actual song itself. There's like an actual full vocal version of the song, but it takes them in a whole completely different direction.
It does. And what I like about it so much, I mean, check this out now. Think about it. We're saying this is house music, but I wish I could have been in the studio with the guy when he was making this song, because anybody that can take house band music like from the 30s and the 40s, and like correlate it to like more modern times, that's a talented guy, man. That was I wish we could rewind that. That was awesome. That was awesome, man. I mean, let's break the rules here, man. Play it again, Kim.
No. I was going to ask Kim. Kim. I want you to play Brighter Days Goodies Mix. Cashmere Brighter Days Goodies Mix, because this one features both. It's Cashmere featuring Dajay. And once you play that, it'll all tie together. Okay.
Let me see if I can find it.
The goodies mix for Brighter Days, and when you hear it, you're gonna be, oh yeah, this is always played.
You gave it to me?
Hip hop DJs want to play house music in their set, they always play this.
Brighter Days.
But I wanted Marcus to hear it because he'll get it. I think he'll truly get it once he hears Brighter Days goodies mix. That's the vocal. This is the vocal version. Find the goodies mix. But we can play this one too. So Marcus, this is a version of a vocal version, and then we'll play the other one.
Okay.
Forgot where I was. I'm just starting to sing.
I know.
Play.
Right, and that's just the intro part of the song, because it goes like this whole verses and everything. But play the goodies mix. Play the goodies mix of this.
Oh, 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 oh.
To hear this in the club with that bass, oh my god!
Over, it's over.
Off the chain. So Marcus, do you recognize that song?
I do now. I never
really.
Let me back up.
Really?
I got lost in it. I mean, I've never heard of it, but I just, you know, when you ask me, do I recognize the song? I'll recognize it from this point on. Because it's just,
okay.
Yeah.
A lot of
this
like,
man, I'm really having a good time.
Well, a lot of the mainstream
on my
DJs
list though?
No, I'm surprised none of you all picked that. Kim, I'm surprised you didn't pick this one. And when you got me up, I was like, that's an interesting choice. But most times people go straight to Brighter Days. They go Brighter Days, Goodies Mix. Because a lot of the mainstream DJs, when they're playing house music, I'm doing air quotes, during their hip hop set, they always play this song. Always.
Always. I knew this one.
Always. Yeah. Always at Nas, I'm like, okay, can you like expand your library a little? But anyway, I love this record because this takes me back to the college days, going to the club. When you go to a club, you would hear stuff that you didn't hear on the radio. It wasn't like now where it's like it's a repeat playlist that you hear on mainstream radio. Then going out, whether it's to a straight club or a gay club or whatever, if they were playing house music, it was an experience. You were hearing stuff that you couldn't access in mainstream radio or anywhere outside of the club.
But this is the thing. When I went to Clark, Atlanta for that semester, when I went to the parties, most of the people were from the New York area. So I heard my music, my house music. So I was jamming. But when I transferred to Payne College, I'm like, what's going on? What y'all don't know? Y'all don't even know the percolator? What the hell?
Yeah. It took college students coming to these areas to expose, I think, to really spread this music as well. Because I remember being at Southern University in Baton Rouge, and it was almost like a culture shock for me. They were to the left, not to cite the area. I mean, their culture is on
course
as well, but it wasn't until I accessed my Chicago friends, New York friends, and they would do like Chicago parties and stuff like that, where I could actually hear like real, like the music that I was really into, the house music. So yeah, I think you're spot on with that one. Yeah,
definitely, because you missed it. I missed it for the 3 years. I got through Payne College without it, but yeah, I missed it a lot. So
Marcus, you need house music in your life.
I'm getting it right now. It's really getting to my blood, man. I don't know if I like it or
you
not.
hear the enthusiasm, right?
Yeah.
All right, Kimmy, what's that?
So you mentioned this one earlier, so I'm gonna go ahead and play it, which is another one of my favorites that you definitely heard in the New York area, and this is "Follow Me."
Oh yeah.
We must stop fighting to achieve the peace that
song it is, my joint. But this is by Ally Us, which is a house music group from New Jersey. Thank you. That was active mostly in the early 90s. Their most famous record, Follow Me, was from 1992. A deep house track produced by Kyle Smith and executive produced by DJ Pierre and George Morel. And it was released on Strictly Rhythm Records.
Alias is the name of the group.
I'm sorry, thank you.
Isn't it interesting?
Alias.
No, Kim.
Right.
You recognize that how a lot of these groups, these like monikers that some of these producers are under, they take a spin on different words, and I can see how you could easily say ally us or ally us, but
because back in the day, all we knew was follow me. That's all we wanted. I just wanted to follow me.
Exactly. And I would know it because I'm a DJ, of course. So I
of course.
plugged into it. But this is another one of those. What'd you say, Marcus?
I'm gonna tell you how much I like this song. Y'all see this?
You looking it up? I know. Good. Good.
I'm starting. It's the first song of my new house music playlist.
I think this song,
and this will get you hyped up in the day.
Yeah, I think this is probably the most played. I could probably put a good bet on. This is probably the most played vocal house record of the modern era, like in the 90s or whatever. I think this one here might be the most universally played because you got mainstream that plays it in their house set. You got like some house DJs that still play it. It's everywhere. This song, Alias. And it's been remixed recently. I mean, like past couple of years, I mean, Alias came out with new material and remixed this song too. So it's had a long shelf life, a very long shelf life.
But it holds up. It is still bumping. It has a message too. I
was gonna say the universal message in a lot of house music does have a, like an optimistic message, and this one's like definitely overly optimistic. Overly optimistic, which is good. We need that. All right, Kimmy, what's next?
All right, up next is
You don't have to do it like Mark. I said do it like Marcus.
Go ahead. So, Soul Music Fade.
Solu Music.
Solu, thank you.
This is like one of my favorites. This is a solid underground record. I used to hear it at the Body and Soul Party in New York and at the Shelter. And for the longest time, I was like, at first, the way it starts off, I'm thinking it's alternate take because the vocals kind of sounded a little similar initially at first. But then I'm like, oh, what is this record? You know, how she sings the chorus and all of that. So my story around this, I was at Disco Rama Records. That was a record store in New York, in the Village. And just doing my usual crate dig, buy records while I was in the city. And this guy forces this record with this like weird coloring scheme on the sleeve into my hand. And he goes, you want to have this in your life? And so he plays it. I'm like, this is the record I've been looking for. I didn't know how to find it. I couldn't sing it or whatever, but it was exactly the record that I had been looking for. Solu Music, featuring Kimberly. Solu Music is actually the label too. So the group is made up of Howie Casp and Dano Nathanson. And this is like one of their very first, it's their first release on that label, Solu Music, released in 2001. And that's my little story on that one. Marcus, what you think?
Every song that's being played today on this episode will go into my new house playlist. Everything, I feel like I've been cheated, and I cheated myself. You know, I really have, man. I mean, every song that's been played, it's like you see me. I close my eyes and just takes you to a whole nother realm musically. You know,
And
it,
we
it
ain't
gives you
even
like a happy
finished
feeling.
yet.
Just makes you want to dance.
You ain't heard it
I
all
know.
yet.
That's crazy.
Oh no, we're not even
so
scratching the surface, really. I mean,
right? I left some
I
stuff
love our
off.
list. I love our list because we have a wide range, but trust me, it gets a lot deeper. And yeah, Marcus, we need to take you on an excursion.
yeah, please do. I'm
We need
ready.
to take you on an excursion. Cam, what you think of this song?
I loved it, but honestly, this is my first time hearing it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was an underground hit. It wasn't
it
like
was
a
more
huge.
underground. Yeah.
Yeah, but it got a lot of international exposure. Then they did a resurgence of different remixes in 2006. But honestly, it's this version that I like. I don't need to hear any remix of it. This version just takes me to that place. There's very few songs that register with me that sends me into that certain euphoric state. If I'm making sense, this is one of those songs. It just takes me back to. I don't know. It just hit me in a certain kind of way, and I it's like I'm hearing it for the first time every time I hear it. I love it.
I think that's house music. I mean, just listening to it, it just takes you back to that time, and you just want to stand up and do your gyrations, like they say, and hurt your knees and the rest of your body. Just trying to do like you used to do 20 years ago.
Like,
I know, right? Like I'm 25 again. Anyway.
Oh, you can hang. I know you can hang still.
I don't know.
Marcus, Marcus, let the groove catch you. You'll be you'll see. You'll dance all night. I used to dance in the club. I swear I could dance 6 hours straight and not leave. Like I could be on the dance floor for DJ like Frankie Knuckles or whomever, Timmy Register. If they're doing their thing, I don't want to leave the floor. Might miss something. All right, let's move on. What's next, Kim?
Well, this one is one of my favorites. I swear I was in the South one time and I was at a party with my friends and this song came on and they thought I had lost my mind. So this is hot music.
Oh!
Man, y'all just don't know.
Oh, I know.
So this 1989 house banger from Pal Joey, who is a house music legend, samples a jazz song from 1986. What jazz musician did they sample this from? One of my favorites.
Duke Ellington.
No.
Coltrane. John Coltrane.
Younger, who's still alive. He's still alive.
What's the guy's name? Marcellus.
Yeah, which one?
Bradford Winston.
Winston
Winston,
Marsalis. The song in question is Skeins Domain by Wynton Marsalis. And the sample is only a couple of seconds, but those couple of seconds turn this whole thing completely out.
Yeah, this is a banger.
I've actually heard this song. I'll tell you when I heard it, Kim. Rodney played this at the family reunion in 2012.
And oh my God, you know what? And what did I do?
You dropped it. You just threw your daughter away. You
Did I not? He's not lying. He is not lying. That was my joint. That's my joint. Hold this child real quick. I gotta do this.
And Missy Elliott has sampled this. Missy Elliott has sampled this in one of her songs too. I'm so very
Yes, she did. Because you know what? I couldn't remember the name of this song. I had my whole list trying to get it to you, and I could not remember the name of this song. And I said, wait a minute, Missy did this. And I looked it up, and I found it.
I have a little dance that I do to this song. I can just do it all night, but it's like a little trot. Dun, dun, dun. I love the flow of this song, the beat.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
Oh my God.
you know, but yeah, it takes me back to college days with this one. And this was always a party starter. When this song came on, everybody was on the floor. Everybody.
Yeah.
Even you would be on
Yeah.
the floor, Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I've heard it before, and I completely forgot about it. So I mean, it's like I said, I heard it. Roddy played it several years back at the reunion, and like kid just kind of lost her mind. I mean, it's just like, hey, somebody kind of get my baby.
And he's not lying. He is not lying. This is my song. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All
Great
right,
time.
next up, one of Marcus's, CeCe Peniston.
Woo!
Oh yeah.
Classic.
Classic. Yeah, that was finally by CeCe Peniston, R&B sensation CeCe Peniston. This is the debut single from her titled album, Finally, released in 1992. This is her biggest hit to date. It peaked at number 5 on the Hot 100 Billboard charts. It sold over 3 million copies worldwide. And I got a chance to listen to an interview with CeCe Peniston, and she said that this song right here is pretty much her breadwinner.
Mm-hmm.
She still gets really big residuals from this particular song, and it pretty much takes care of her to this day. I'm pretty sure Byron can attest to the fact that there are probably so many mixes of this song floating around somewhere in the atmosphere, So again, this is my second favorite song next to Keep On Walking by CeCe, but nevertheless, still solid hit and a big contributor to the house culture.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I had the pleasure of meeting CeCe several years ago when she did a performance for the Deep Sugar Party in Baltimore. And it's funny, before going to that party, I was at a friend's house party. He was doing like a little soiree. And come to find out, the manager of CeCe was a friend of his. And who walks in to this party at their house? CeCe Peniston. So we were able to break bread together and talk there, and then go to the club later on. But this record, I think what really helped this record be so successful, first of all, CeCe Peniston is a solid songwriter. She wrote the song. But I think the productions of David Morales, who brought the Death Mix Productions along with Frankie Knuckles, but David Morales put his stamping on that post-production, which is the version that everybody knows, that helped make it super successful. So Marcus, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of remixes for the song, but I think that first batch of remixes that was featured, like when it was released, are the best ones. You can't get rid of the classic, the original version.
I love the song, to say the least, and like I say, it did really well. And like CeCe said, it's pretty much been how she's been able to eat for the past 30 years. So I mean, hey,
album finally. The album, if you all have not heard the entire album, definitely check it out and listen to the audience as well, because this shows her diversity. It's not just all house; it's a full range album, and that pretty much solidifies who she is. It's a solid release. Listening to the album, you're not surprised why she's successful. She's definitely an A-list artist. All right, Kim, what's next?
I have Stuck. I'm stuck. Here you go.
Baby, I can't do without. I'm so in love, baby girl. Stuck. You got me. You got me. Baby.
gosh, this is another banger. Kevin Everett, who's I think is an underexposed artist. He's got to be one of the most diverse, the most talented instrumentalists, vocalists in the house music genre, but he does all kinds of different types of music. Stuck was released in 2007 on the Soul Heaven Records label, and it's an underground banger, underground hit. You would hear it at places like the Body and Soul Party as well as Shelter in New York. Was primarily where when I first heard the song. And to this day, you can put this record on and people go crazy. It's that infectious groove, the driving groove to it, and one of my favorites on the list. Yeah, man, have you heard it before?
This is my first time hearing it, but I like it. I like it a lot.
All right, Marcus, what do you think of it?
I love it. There hasn't been, we haven't dropped the ball yet on anything that's been played today. All of it's been like real infectious.
Yes, that's what house music is.
It's really infectious. Yeah.
Now, next up, one of my favorites, Janet Jackson, Throb.
Woo!
Love it.
Yeah. Now, Byron, what mix is this? You say?
That's the legendary dub, David Morales' legendary dub mix, which is when it was officially released as a single. This was what was on the 12-inch.
Okay, cool. I like that version. I like that version. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was "Throb" by Janet Jackson from the album Janet in 1993. The original produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. It was released as a single in the Netherlands, and it peaked at number 20. It was released just as on radio only in the United States, and it hit number 66 on the Hot Dance Club charts. I had never heard the song until a couple of months ago when the Janet documentary dropped. And ever since then, it has been a fixture in my playlist. Whenever I'm having a bad morning or wherever I'm sleepy, going to work, what I'm saying, I put on Throb and I am immediately energized. Immediately.
I love it.
This is yeah. And so this is a sleeper song, I guess, from the Janet repertoire. All the songs that Janet has produced over the years. This is one of her sleepers. To me, I can describe it as the Bontel joint. This is how we do it of house music, I guess you could say.
This is one of those. This is one of those that you had to have her album to actually and listen to the whole thing from beginning to end. And then I think this the last song on the album, Byron?
Oh no! It's smack in the middle of the album.
Okay.
Go on, girl.
Yeah,
Miss Janet.
Number six.
It was number 6. Okay, but again, you had to have this album, and then when you got to number 6, you played it like 50 million times. So this is a banger.
Yeah, it was originally released as the B-side of Anytime, Any Place. Was released in the United States in '94, and then of course abroad they get all of the good stuff. And me as a DJ had to pay double the amount for an import. If I wanted a copy of it. But this is like one of my favorite songs by Janet Jackson. Huge club banger. It was funny when the Janet album came out, and you would go out to the clubs. They were playing the album version, driving bass that you can only hear in the club. So yeah, it's a sleeper. It's an underground. I wouldn't call it a sleeper. It's an underground, more like an underground jam.
It's an underground Janet. Only
Yeah, underground.
true fans know about Thrive.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good choice, Marcus.
Very good choice. Now up
Thank you.
next is Frankie Knuckles featuring Jamie Principal. Your Love.
Ooh.
When your body's next to me, I begin to swear. When we touch, I lose control. Now you know what's next. Fantasizing all the time. Your body next to mine. Well, I need your love. I need your love. I need your love. Don't make me wait too long. Oh, I need your touch. Don't make me wait for your love.
Yes,
So-
indeed.
That was Your Love by Frankie Knuckles, released in 1986. Now, before I go into any more particulars about this song, ladies and gentlemen, I owe Byron, Kim, and all the other house heads that may be listening to this podcast an apology because I almost swapped this song out with of all songs, Prodigy smacked my bitch up. I had no idea what was going on in my mind at the time. I'm not thinking about how Frankie Knuckles is the centerpiece of house music. Some may consider him as the godfather of house music. So for that aspect, I do apologize to all the house heads that may be listening to this podcast. But however, this song Your Love by Frankie Knuckles was released in 1986. It was written by Jamie Principal. We mentioned him. Jamie Principal wrote the song, but gave the lyrics to Frankie Knuckles. Frankie Knuckles was one of the big DJs in the Chicago area around that time. So I guess somehow they figured out how they can collab and get the song out, and it charted number 59 on the UK charts. After the death of Frankie Knuckles in 2014, this song recharted and reached number 29 on the dance charts. And again, it's a staple of the house music era. And again, made Frankie Knuckles rest in peace.
Yes, indeed. I agree. I don't think Jamie Principal gets all of the credit that he deserves. He's still in the game, still recording music or whatever. But I think people have slept on his songwriting abilities and just his overall talent as an artist. He got overshadowed by Frankie on this record. Frankie, but yeah, Jamie Principal is the carrier of the song. He's the originator of this song, which is to me like one of the early examples of the early form of house as we knew it, as it created, not necessarily with purpose from disco, but original production style. Because you hear a lot of techno influences in this particular one. It has like international sound. You know what I mean? That was kind of that international electronic sound that was more popular over in Europe post disco time frame. So great choice here.
So you do understand the difference now, right, Marcus?
I do understand the difference.
Thank you.
I do
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, Kimmy, what is next?
Love So Special, one of my favorites. Here we go.
Special.
I thought you were the one I could hold on to. I did my best for you, and now you broke my heart in two.
Special.
And when you broke my heart, there was nothing left for me.
Special.
Oh yeah, you broke my heart. Now here I am
Yes, good one, huh?
Yeah.
All right, Sable Jeffries, also known by the stage name Sweet Sable, was an American house and R&B vocalist best known for her work during the 1990s, including her best-known single including Love So Special, which reached the top 20 of the Billboard Dance Club song charts in 1991. Jeffries continued to record and release music in the 2000s. However, she was diagnosed with sarcoidosis, where she had to put a hold on her singing career, but eventually succumbed to COVID-19 in 2020.
Yeah. I was so saddened to hear about her passing in 2020. That was a hard year for all of us. But Sable Jeffries, I mean, she definitely had put a stamp on our music, especially with this song here, because it was just a worldwide instant hit for her. Took her beyond New Jersey. I mean, when I hear this song, I think of New Jersey, by the way, I want to say.
Oh, thank you
When I
ever
hear this,
so much.
I think of New Jersey. I think of Zanzibar. I think of
What do
Tony
you know
Hawk.
about the Zanzibar?
Hey, I know
What
some
were
things.
you doing
I
at
know
the
some things.
Zanzibar?
I know
When
some
were
things. I know
you
some things.
over there?
I know some things that some of my.
But you in Newark and didn't tell people stuff.
No, but you weren't there when I was there.
Oh,
You
okay.
weren't already-
I had moved. Okay.
Yeah, you all had already moved, and yeah, it was like whenever I would go to New York, was during my spring breaks in college to visit my best friend. He's the one that got me introduced to the whole turntablism side of house music, and so I was already collecting the music and all of that. So I was in with the music, but he got me really plugged into the culture, exposing me to all of the different clubs around New York and New Jersey, and Zanzibar was one of them.
All right. Okay. I'll give you
Zanzibar
that.
But yeah, but I that's what immediately comes to mind when I hear that song is New Jersey. That whole groove of it, just to me,
It is. It does remind me of home. It does. It really does.
And her as Sweet Sable, you might laugh at this, but people were like, "Oh, Sweet Sable, new artist." I said, "No, she's not a new artist. That's a house artist." She's a new artist. I always had to stand on a soapbox to educate people about some of these artists. Oh, she's a well-established artist. She's just under a different name. She's mainly known for the house music, just like Sybil, Sybil. And that's the reason, and that's another fact. She had to make her name Sable because her name is actual Sybil, but because Sybil was already established, that's why she put a play on her name, the Ceybil.
She added an E. Got it.
And then she made it Sable, Sable, when she did a Sweet Sable, but it was always Sable Jeffries, Ceybil. But she had to do that because of the well-established Sybil, who's another fabulous artist that's still doing her thing today as well.
Very good.
Yeah, I love this song, Kimmy.
I had a good playlist, didn't I?
You did. You know what about your playlist? What I truly appreciate about it is that you dug into the classics.
Yes,
you
I
dug
did.
into the foundation, a lot of the foundation songs. And I took it from a standpoint, I wanted to cover some of the main stuff in the 90s, but I also wanted to hit like what's been more recent as well, because I think a lot of that is solid recordings. So I think we covered that. Marcus too. Marcus's list. Marcus, your list was great as well. So we did the thing.
Yes, we did. So
what's next?
We're gonna go on to Lil Louis, Club Lonely.
Say, are you happy? Have you been down to the club that worldly people love? Hey, what you doing? Come on and check it out. I know you heard about the place for broken hearts, where players play the part all at the lonely.
I haven't heard that one in a long time.
Isn't that a party starter?
Yes, it is.
Kimmy?
Yes?
Kimmy?
You hear me?
My name is on the list. My name is on the list.
Your name is on the list.
My name is on the list.
It is.
So the beginning of this song is iconic. She goes, excuse me, Charles, my name is on the list. What list? The DJ's list. And then he goes, Miss Thing, there is no guest list. No. That's the beginning of the song. But anyway, I digress. Club Lonely, I was actually torn between Club Lonely and Save My Life because these were two singles from his 1990 release, Journey with the Lonely. They both went to #1. Most people would have gone throughout A French Kiss because that was his bread and butter track back in 1989. You remember French Kiss?
Yes.
With Breakdown. But this one I chose because mainly it's a floor-filling banger, but also this is when we were introduced to the vocals of Joy Cardwell, who's also a long-standing house artist who became famous after this release, this song. But Club Lonely, What can I say? What can I say about Club Lonely? More about Club Lonely. It's a floor filler. Immediately you get caught up in that in the energy of it.
Exactly. That's what house music does. It just gets you caught up in the house and in the energy of it, and it just makes you have a better day. That's it.
Makes you happy.
Yes, it does.
Without any other substance, you can be super.
All the side effects.
Yeah. Yes. All right.
We're gonna move on to Chip E, featuring K Joy. Like This, one of my favorites.
So many happy, so many to me. Ready to dance, they got to move their feet. What is that sound coming from? Fear is there, it's everywhere. That beat is like this, like this, like this, like this. Not like that, it's like this. Like this, move your feet like this, got to be like this, can't you see like this?
Kimmy, good choice.
Yes, thank you very much. But Like This exemplifies the early Chicago house sound that Chip E pioneered during the early 80s, featuring raw, distinctive vocals from K Joy. And the track also stars a young Frankie Knuckles speaking the track's title in possibly his first ever studio session.
Oh, yes, indeed. And I would also add that Chip E doesn't get the credit that he deserves because he is like one of the godfathers of house as well. And he's credited for producing Frankie Knuckles' very first single, which was You Can't Hide. So this our list, we have really provided a nice, solid foundation for anyone who's curious about house music because we've covered from beginning to now with a lot of the bangers that every playlist should have. And that's a good tidbit because I didn't realize that was Frankie Knuckles' voice. I didn't know that.
So, yes, it was. And again, this was released in 1985. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the vocalist, K Joy, that's Kimberly J. Salter.
Well, everybody is named Kimberly today. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
So all the dope chicks are named Kimberly.
Yes, we're all the best people are named Kimberly.
don't you like the rawness of especially like the earlier records, especially when it comes to vocalists, how you could tell it was a home studio most likely that they recorded it, but it speaks to their ability because as raw as it is, they are solid with their sound. You know what I mean?
I know. And I'll take it back to something Prince said back in the day. Long live my baby. That he didn't have to use the little synthesizers and stuff to alter his voice, just like some of the vocalists back in the early 80s. Most of this house music, they didn't most of them didn't have to use that. They used their actual voice. That's what made
Yeah.
it so special.
This song reminds me of something Jomanda would sing. You remember Jomanda, the girl group Jomanda?
I can't remember
They had the
Jemima.
song "Got a Love for You," "Make My Body Rock." Got a
That sounds
love
familiar.
for you. Da, 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 da.
Oh, okay, got it.
That one. So this sounds like something that they would sing, like some of the earlier stuff. Yvonne, who is also a member of Jomanda, may she rest in peace. She also partnered with Master Work under the name Roughneck. So
Okay.
her vocal style is similar to Kay Joy's. They're kind of similar in their sound, and to me, they represent New Jersey.
Again, even though house music originated in Chicago and New York area, we've heard New Jersey several times today. Shout out Brick City. All right.
Brick City. Yes,
right.
I love it.
Up next, another finally featuring Julie McKnight.
McKnight, Julie McKnight.
It's okay.
Oh yeah.
Unannounced like a thief in the night. One day, unannounced like a thief in the night. You don't know what I've been through. How do you do? Singing, wondering about you. I had dreams of people in the back. You don't know what I've been through. Now I know paradise. Singing, wondering about you. I had dreams of people in the back. You finally I know paradise. You don't know what I've been through. How do you do? Singing, wondering about you. I had a dream of people in the back. You don't know what I've been through. Now I know paradise. Singing, wondering about you. I had
Yes,
a dream
indeed.
of
This song, when I hear this, I think of the shelter. I think of those main parties that were given in New York around that time. This record was released in 2000 by Kings of Tomorrow, which is a moniker that Sandy Rivera goes under. It's actually one person, but for this record, he brought in the vocals of Julie McKnight, who was part of a lot of the hits that he's released over the years. I think this is like one of the last records that she did with him before she really went out on her own and started working with other people. But it peaked at number 17 on the Billboard Dance charts and number 24 in the UK singles charts. And it's on Kings of Tomorrow's 2000 release, which is called It's in the Lifestyle, which is a great album that I recommend to anyone. Great sounding song. You have to hear the full version if you've not heard it before. Nice sing along. I call it like a sing along type of song. The lyrics and the basic groove. And Louis Vega eventually remixed it as well. Provided remixes for it.
All right. That was my first time hearing it, but I like it.
Okay, good. All right.
Now, next up, we're going to go ahead and play Marcus's song. And this is Hadaway, What is Love?
Baby, don't hurt me no more. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more.
You saw my little dance?
But honestly, when I'm listening to it, that's more techno to me than house. It is.
Yeah, so which falls under. You remember that the music they used to play all on the radio, that sugar poppy music, and it was like it was called high energy. That was a genre at the time. It's called high energy. This falls under that, and that's what EDM is now. The EDM is the high energy, and I get a little irritated when people want to call that house into the category of EDM. It's not. It's completely different. High energy is EDM. This is the Euro sound.
It does.
Euro
It does have that
techno
Euro
thing.
sound.
That's where that belongs, over in that side of the room, of the building, I should say, EDM side. But
It is a
because it
classic.
has a 4/4 beat. It's a classic because it has a 4/4 beat. People immediately say, "Oh, this is house music," but no, it's a different
No, it's
thing.
techno. Yeah.
Yeah, techno.
Yeah.
Well, in the pop clubs,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
played the hell. This was like the banger. But Hadaway, he had a lot of hits. I mean, this is a huge record for him. This is like a worldwide smash. I think the highest it went in Switzerland was number 2. No, I'm sorry. I might be wrong there. No, the highest is number 1. It's number 1 in 7 different countries. It peaked at number 11 here in the United States, number 2 in the UK, and in Germany, number 2, as well as in Sweden. But everywhere else except Australia, it was number 12. So Australia was kind of in sync with what was happening in the United States because it didn't crack the top 10. But everywhere else, number 1 or number 2. So platinum gold. He got some money. Hopefully he wrote the song and received the residuals for that because it's.
You're like, he got some money for it. We ain't heard
He
from
definitely
him.
yeah.
But like I said,
vocals.
he does have very nice vocals. Like I said, when I hear the song, all I see is Night at the Roxbury and those guys bobbing their heads. That's my
That's exactly how
connotation.
people dance to it.
Right, exactly.
But when I think of this though, every time I hear the song, it takes me back to college days because I went to an HBCU in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but LSU was also there, so I was there.
Went to
LSU
their
was what I was
parties.
taking place. Not only that, but I enrolled at LSU too, take cross registration just for diversity's sake. But the nightlife surrounding there, this type of music was always played.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it kind of takes me back to some of those nights when we would crash the party, so to speak, and go there and act silly and all that stuff. So it has a good place in my heart. It makes me nostalgic of those good times with my friends.
Absolutely.
But it's not on my playlist. It's not. This is what I would listen to during work, like when I'm working or something. There would be something part of the work day playlist in the office.
Yeah, when you do my house selections, the full version, you can leave that one off. Okay.
No slight to you, Hadaway. If you're listening,
Or
we love your
Marcus.
vocals.
Marcus, good
Or
selection.
Marcus, but I think it's the production on this song. I think had someone like David Morales or Frankie Knuckles had their hands in this one. It
would be different. It wouldn't. There would be a little bit. It would have had something. Oh, that's all I have to say. It would have had something.
Yeah, it would have had a little bit more gumption to it, I guess.
Yeah.
I think. But like I applaud you for your success. I mean, because he had another single right after this called "Life" that it had the same Euro sound, but it was also a big record for him. Actually, it did well. No, it didn't do as good as in the United States, but it was. I just remember seeing the video on the box.
I think I remember that. I'm gonna look that up.
And actually, I have that 12-inch. I have the vinyl 12-inch for Life. Because of who did the remixes. I mean, the remixes are a lot better and a lot tolerable than What Is Love for me.
Anyway, let's go on to Caught Up.
Ooh.
Caught in the Middle.
Julia Roberts.
It's not fair how you broke down my defenses. Yes, it's really true that you are free. All I didn't care 'cause I'm living for the moment. Remembering the very first time my heart beat like a drum that goes boom, boom, boom. My heart beats like a drum that goes boom, boom, boom. My heart beats like I'm caught in the middle of love, caught in the middle of you, caught in the middle of L.O.V. love. I'm caught in the middle of love, caught in the middle of you, caught in the middle of L.O.V. love. I'm caught in the middle of love, caught in the middle of you, caught in the middle of L.O.V. love.
Oh my God, Kimmy.
Yes.
I would say I had to include this in there. I wanted Marcus to hear this song because this one of my top 5 songs by Juliet Roberts. She's a British jazz, rock, soul, and house music singer of Grenadian descent. I had the pleasure of seeing her perform at the Sound Factory Bar right when her first main album was being released. She had a song called "I Want You" back in 1994. You may have remember they used to play it on MTV, and it had a more Euro sound, but it was still like a solid house record. But Caught in the Middle, it was released in 1993, and then got a reboot in '94 with additional remixes. But it's this version that I love because Roger Sanchez, who went by the name of Roger S, did the remix, and this is the Sunrise mix. And the way it breaks down during the verse and then in the middle of the song, you have to hear the entire song to appreciate it. But the groove of it just takes you to a different place. Billy Porter actually recently covered this song.
Now that I can see, I got you.
Yeah. But to me, he did his stamp on the song, but you cannot replace the original. And it's Juliet Roberts' voice, her vocals, the way she sings, it just takes me to a nice place.
But shout out to Billy Porter because he can blow. Yeah.
Shout out to Billy Porter. Yes, you can blow. You can blow. And thank you for remaking that song. Thank you for covering it because you're exposing a whole new artist, not only to your talents, but to this fabulous gem that's been, to me, like one of the best house songs, vocal house songs. So what's next, Kimmy?
This is what's next.
Wow, Tin City. One of the yes. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
One of the premier house music groups.
I know. I know Tin City, and I think I forgot to include something from them, and I'm gonna have to look for it. No, go ahead.
Because they set the foundation. Hint their album in 1989 called Foundation, but they did what? Devotion, the song.
Devotion.
Right back to you. That's the way love is. Finding love. All of those classic Foundation songs.
Devotion. That's the one I knew.
Yeah.
I used to love Devotion. I forgot about that.
Yep. Byron Stingley, Herb Lawson, and Byron Burke. Marshall Jefferson was also affiliated with this group. My Piece of Heaven. This version was done by David Morales, produced by David Morales. Yeah, and it was on their second release. Was it the second album? This was released in. That was then, and this is now. No. This was released on the album No House Big Enough in '92. No House Big Enough. That's the album that's featured on, and My Piece of Heaven went to number 2. It was a number 2 dance hit for them on the Billboard dance chart.
And you know what?
What?
I feel like the audience needs to hear Devotion because that was one of my
Please play that.
favorite.
Yes. That's their very first single.
And it is a classic from my area. We used to love this song.
I say
about to play the whole thing, right? So
Yeah.
that was my jam.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too.
As
It
soon as you
takes me
said
to
10
that-
City, I was like, wait a minute. I knew a song by 10 City. What was that? Okay.
And Byron Stingley, everyone wants to compare him to Sylvester with the way he
Yeah,
sings.
he does
when
sound like Sylvester. Shout out to
when he hits those
Sylvester.
high
God
notes.
rest him.
Yes, indeed. Rest his soul.
Rest his soul.
I mean,
And honestly, he had some house bangers too. But we're not gonna.
Yeah.
We're not even gonna. We're not gonna.
I mean, Martha Wash and gosh, what you say? 2005. What was the other woman's name? What the girl?
Wash.
May she rest in peace as well.
She's gone.
Yeah, she passed away. Yes, the Weather Girls.
Yeah.
Izora Armstead.
I probably know her
And,
voice when I hear it.
Yeah, she had the let's see, Martha had the higher register type of voice, and Izora's voice was more of like a lower grounded sound, a little growl to it. And so when Martha Wash left, really became the solo artist, successful solo artist, she Armstead, Miss Izora, continued on in 1901, decided to continue on as the Weather Girls with her daughter, Danelle Rhodes. So, but yeah, big shouts to Sylvester, because I mean that was a foundation. That created, I think, a blueprint of what we eventually saw in house music, what they were doing, and how they arranged the music. I think that was a huge influence. It wasn't beyond disco. You know what I mean? It was a huge influence.
Absolutely.
But Byron Stingley and 10 City, always my favorite. I love their videos that they would have. They would actually put out videos for their songs, and it seemed well produced and thought out. And it was interesting to have a house music group. I can't think of any other group besides Delight. Delight, New York. New York Soul, Masters of Work. That's different because those are producers who are as groups, but groups with some artistry put behind them, like 10 City, Delight, those type of groups. I can't think of any other ones outside of them. Can you?
I can't really, but while we're thinking, I want to play Sylvester real quick because I feel like we shouldn't move on without at least playing a little something from him, because he, like you said, kind of started this back in the early 80s, late 70s.
Okay, which song are you going to play by Sylvester?
You Make Me Feel.
All right.
So you can hear the connection between that and house music today.
Yes. The beat was a lot stronger than like what you would say, like most disco songs. It had a stronger drive to it, which makes it easily set up into the house format.
Yep. In every way, he was ahead of his time.
I agree. All right. So our last one.
Yes. And
Fortunately, Rejoicing. Nate, rejoicing. Mm, 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 mm. This was actually the final release from her debut album, Blue Notes in the Basement, which was released in 1991. Rejoicing was released as a single in 1992, and it has been a long-standing favorite and classic of all fans of hers since its release. This version was actually remixed by Delight, DJ Dimitri from Delight, hence the name Delightful Stomp. And it completely transformed the song into a nice gospel stomper that will have any dance floor, or continues to fill dance floors to this day. Because then it was popular, and even now when you hear it, it's a floor filler. Her version, the original, she's the originator of the song, is a solid performance standard, and it will always be part of my playlist. I can't say enough about this song.
Definitely. It is a banger, and it's been a minute since I heard it. My goodness. This whole episode just took me back, all the way back.
All the way back. And I'll say, before we even close out, I want to say this about Ultra, and this is to her credit. She's an artist, first and foremost, but she's also, I call her the international ambassador. She's also a DJ now. And I'm fortunate to know her personally. I'm fortunate to be a part of her party called Deep Sugar. I'm one of the resident DJs for it. And it's been going on for 16 plus years now. And hopefully we will continue to do it, keep pushing forward. But big shouts to Orchanate for keeping this culture going, doing all she could to just create avenues for this music to be held and heard by everyone. Really, I said held, meaning the material that she's releasing. She's about to release her 11th album this year, but she released album after album, and she's always releasing singles. She's just staying in the forefront, keeping things moving. So big shouts to Orchanate.
All right. Well, that is the end of all the music that we had. But please know, I'm sure we forgot some things. And please blame it on our head, not our hearts. I probably will remember like 10 of them after we close this out. But believe me, we know how to.
This was hard. This was hard. Yes, this was hard, wasn't it? It was hard to narrow the list down. And
I mean, so stuff just started coming to me, and then there were some that I was like, wait a minute, I know this beat in my head, but what was the name of the song?
Yeah. And I think many of our audience members know these songs, but because of, I guess, the what's the word? The not devotion. I want to use the word devotion, but those who didn't have a certain amount of skin in the game per se, didn't have like the care to know all the details on who was singing these songs, who produced these songs. But I'm sure we all can agree you can appreciate what was presented and produced by these people that we're celebrating today.
Exactly. We even added some songs on the fly while we were doing this. So.
Oh yeah, that's how we do here in the
yeah, exactly. But thank you all for listening. And on behalf of Marcus Big Mo Moses and myself, Kimmy Brown.
And me, Byron Bino Brown.
That will be all for today in the Good Experience. Love y'all.
Thank you for hanging. Love y'all.